This is the brand new TaylorMade Qi4D driver. Get on up there. So welcome back everybody. I've got my hands on the brand new TaylorMade Qi4D drivers, and I'm going to be talking through their key features and benefits, the recommended retail price, all 5 of the different head options that are available, and then I'm going to be testing it out here at the Belfry on the Brabazon golf course. So make sure you stay tuned for the rest of the video. So first up, let's talk through the name, the TaylorMade Qi4D, and that stands for Quest for Inertia with 4 dimensions, and the 4 dimensions are the head, the face, the shaft, and also the fitting process. So I'm not a massive fan of the name, but that's not what matters. What matters is the performance out on the golf course. But let's start with the first dimension, the head options that are available. So there are 5 different head options available. You've got the Max, you've got the Max Light, you've got the Max Light Women's, the Core head, and also the LS head. So let's start off by talking through the Max. The Max driver has been designed for max speed and also max forgiveness. So it's designed for that slightly higher handicapper that strikes the ball not quite out the centre. It's available in 9, 10.5 and 12 degrees as well. So the next head option in the range is the LS head, and this is TaylorMade's lowest spinning head. It's designed for that slightly lower handicap golfer that really needs to reduce their spin rate. Most drivers are usually 450cc in the low spinning heads, however this remains at a 460cc, the same as the rest of the heads that are available. There are 2 different weights in the back of the head. There's a 4-gram weight and also a 15-gram weight. You can alter these weights to make the spin rate even lower. Putting the heavier weight towards the face is actually going to reduce that spin rate even more. Another 2 heads that are available are the Max Light and the Max Light Women's. These are designed for players that really struggle to get that club head speed. So the shaft is a lot lighter than all the rest of the shafts that are available, and that's designed to try and help you get that club head speed and get that ball launching up into the air. So the last head option in the range is the Core head, and this is designed for golfers that want speed, consistency and forgiveness. So all 5 of the different head options now feature the second dimension, the new carbon twist face, and this has been designed to help improve the roll off the club face, and that's designed to really help with those off-centered shots and controlling the spin rate. So let's talk through the third dimension, and that's the shaft. They now feature this React shaft in the Core, the LS and the Max head. There are 3 different Mitsubishi shaft options available depending on people's rotation profile. So to start with, I'm going to talk through the high rotation shaft. And this is designed for players who are very handsy through the shot and tend to release early during the golf swing. So when you are hitting that driver, you're releasing early, really hitting up on it. As you notice, my hands are slightly back of center. So the next shaft option is the MR, so the mid-rotation shaft, and this is for players who tend to return their hands back to square during the impact position. So it's that middle of the range golfer. And finally, the last option is the LR, so low rotation, and this is for players who tend to get a little bit ahead of the golf ball. The hands are slightly in front of the ball at impact and slightly hit down on the golf ball, so the LR might be a good option for you. The recommended retail price for all 5 of these drivers comes in at £549. They actually arrive in stores on the 29th of January, so make sure to head on over to GolfStar Direct to get your pre-order in now and use the discount code TM5 for a 5% discount. So first impressions, I really like the look of the driver this year. I really like how dark the crown is. It's actually a little bit darker than last year's model. The carbon looks really clean as well. And I do like those little hints of orange on the back of the head with the pattern that runs down the back. Obviously last year's was green, but I actually prefer the look of this year's better. Ultimately, even though the sole of the club looks really appealing, it's actually all about the crown when you're addressing that golf ball. And for me this year, it just looks a little bit darker, but it does look very, very good when addressing. Right, so it's time to test out the Max and the LS driver out on the golf course, and we started on the first hole on the Brabazon, a really tough driving hole. It's a 393-yard par 4 that gets very narrow. There are bunkers on the left and the right hand side of the fairway, so a good drive is essential. So I started off with the Max and it went very high. It felt great off the club face and found the middle of the fairway. However, the distance side of things only travelled around 265 yards. Next up was the LS head, and this went so far. It was a much lower flight. I pulled it slightly, so even less spin on it, but wow, did it travel. I actually made it past the trees on the left-hand side of the fairway. The next hole is the second, a short par 4 with trees that run down the fairway. The trees on the left definitely come into play though, as they slightly stick out into the fairway, and there is a bunker just down the left hand side, but don't worry, we should definitely be flying that. So again, start with the Max head, and it was a good job that this thing went high, as it went over the trees on the left hand side and cut in slightly, only just making it over the top of the bunker though. Next I went with the LS head and pushed it slightly to the right hand side of the fairway. A very good drive overall, and distance was great. The next hole to test these drivers out on was the third, a par 5, 512 yards. You don't really want to miss this shot out to the left, as you have a bunker that comes into range and trees just short of that to the left hand side also. A good drive here puts you in a good position to try and get on the green for 2. The Max driver, I struck the ball really well. It turned over a little bit to the left-hand side, but I got away with it as it was just short of the bunker. The LS driver, again, I hit slightly to the left-hand side, but I didn't get as lucky this time. The ball ended up smack bang in the middle of the bunker. Another good strike with the Max on the 4th hole. It's definitely a fairway finder that finished just over the bunker. The LS driver found the fairway and again was boomy, going further than the Max. Final hole now, and I hit the Max driver pretty decent, but it was into wind, and how high the ball went, I didn't even make it over the water. Look how shocked I actually was. The LS head, I leaked slightly right, but it put me in a great position to try and get to the green in 2. So what a day we've had testing out these drivers at the Belfry, and to be honest, I thought they performed really well. I really liked how far the ball actually travelled, and more importantly, even on those off-centred shots, the ball still travelled really far. For me personally, my favourite was the LS head. I thought it just travelled nicely through the air, and the distance wise, it just performed so good. But remember the last dimension in the range, the fitting process. Like I say, there are 5 different heads. Select the right one for you. It doesn't matter about the ability level you're at, select the right head. Whether you struggle getting club head speed, then probably go with the light driver. Whether you struggle with the consistency element, maybe it's the Max head. If you do want to lower that spin rate, the LS head might be a good one, and you have the core option as well. So select the right driver head for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed watching the video. If you did, please leave this video a like. Make sure to comment any questions you've got down below, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks again for watching.